Hey everyone, we're going to do something a little different today. Normally we're talking beer, mead, cider, all that kind of stuff. But there is another passion that I have, and that's cooking. In particular, we're going to smoke some bacon. So if you have a smoker, whether it's electric or it's gas or it's a offset smoker, it doesn't really matter. The fact is that if you haven't made bacon, it's unbelievably simple to do. All you need to do really is get some pork belly, and then the other ingredients are really kind of up to you. So I'm going to show you kind of a quick and easy way to do it today. So I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so to do this recipe is actually pretty simple. 3-pound, give or take, chunk of pork belly right here. That fits pretty well inside this gallon Ziploc, which will make more sense later. I have 4 ingredients: kosher salt, coarse ground black pepper. I use this stuff as my curing salt. You can also use what's known as prog powder. It's a pink curing salt. You can find it on Amazon pretty easy. I've used both. I use this. It's just cheaper. Haven't really found too much of a difference. As well as paprika. This just happens to be sweet paprika. I don't know that it really matters. This is just what I use because it's laying around the house. And I also have a 1/3 cup of white sugar. I've used white, I've used brown, kind of same thing. I haven't really noticed a difference. So the recipe has 3 tablespoons of kosher salt, the 1/3 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of the pepper, 2 teaspoons of paprika, and 1 teaspoon of the curing salt. So I have them all in these little dishes to make it almost kind of look like it's a cooking show, like I'm really professional about it, even though I'm not. You can of course adjust the pepper up or down as you see fit. I usually probably use a little bit more, but my base recipe really is 2 tablespoons. And then you simply just make sure to whisk this and get it all incorporated into one kind of easy spread. Right, I should mention that the curing salt has sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate. I know some people probably like to keep that kind of level of preservative out of their food, but it helps break down helps the curing process. Do you need it? No, you don't need it. You can use just regular salt. The salt is going to, salting any kind of meat, if you're going to do it for any extended period of time. That salt wicks into the meat and pulls out some of the moisture. I mean, you could smoke this piece of meat right now just as is. However, you're not going to get that kind of almost like dry, salty kind of flavor that you normally get with bacon. I don't worry about that stuff, so here we go. All I do is I take this mixture and I just kind of slowly sprinkle it, over the bacon. And then I try to rub this in a little bit. It's not going to completely infuse into this, but I do rub it as best I can on all sides. I'm just kind of doing this on a cookie sheet to try to eliminate some of the mess, even though I'm going to have to clean up my stove after this because it's going to be probably a little bit of a mess. So kind of push that in, pour over. I should note that, so this is just fat. You can get some pork bellies that will still have the skin on it because it does come essentially from kind of the abdominal part of the pig. If that's the case, you want to cut that skin off. That skin is not good. It's going to be tough. I mean, you could potentially smoke through it. That's not the end of the world, but it probably is best practice to get rid of it. Depending on how big you have, if you use a larger bag or a larger pork belly, you're probably going to have some of this left over, which isn't terrible. You can always kind of throw it in the bag when you're done, because when you put this in the bag, it's going to wick out a ton of liquid, and that liquid's going to be in the bag, so it's all going to kind of get dispersed in there anyway. So this is pretty much rubbed all in. So I'm now going to take and I'm going to put this in this gallon Ziploc, which I have listed as regular because I'm going to do 2 different bacons today. I have another piece of pork belly. The other one, I'm going to substitute the sugar Can you see this or not? Maple syrup and jalapenos. Now this I've never done before, but I'm excited for this because I want to try something spicy. So once you have that all in there, throw this in your zip top bag and close it up. So like I said, for my second one, I'm gonna have, I want to make it with a little bit of jalapeno and maple. So I have all the same ingredients in the rub except for the sugar because I'm using this instead. So I'm going to use it kind of like I would also, or like I would when I'm smoking something. I'm going to use this as a little bit of a binder. I'm going to kind of rub that on there. This is going to help all of that stick. Now, like I said at first, I've not done this recipe before. This is just something that seems kind of fun, and they had 2 pork bellies at the meat market that I go to. So we're going to roll the dice and make a second one because why not? So rub is on. Not too worried about the sides. I just kind of want to get, for this one with the syrup, I want to make sure I get the top and the bottom, kind of the main parts here. So I'll get a little more syrup on here. Rub this in. Help that stick. That should be kind of an interesting one. So we'll see if this works. Won't know, of course, until we actually smoke it. But I'm always up for trying something a little bit different with this kind of stuff. That's how we learn. So as you can kind of see, I've got the sliced jalapenos. There's just 2 jalapenos. I got them sliced up. I did not cut out the inside because I want to make sure that I get some of that spice. Sitting here, and I have this in a 9x13 Pyrex dish. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because this is going to sit in the fridge for 7 to 10 days. Every day you need to take and flip like that. Flip both of them. Or in this case, both of them. You know, if you're only doing one, then just do one. You want to flip it every 24 hours because I said the liquid is going to get pulled out of the meat. It's going to come and it's going to sit on the bottom. And you don't want to get one side just cured. You want to continue to get both sides. 7 days is about all you need. So I'm going to go and throw these in the fridge. And we'll see you in 7 to 10 days. It's probably going to be about 7 because that's probably when I'm going to smoke it. All right, for starters, I gotta tell you that my dishwasher is running and I'm sorry about that. It just so happened that I kind of forgot that I was gonna do this and the time to smoke is now, so please bear with the sound. Hopefully it's not too bad. Having said that, so the pork belly's been cured for 7 days now. I've got my regular one on the bottom. I've got my jalapeno maple here. Because of all the salt that's on there, you need to pull it out. You need to rinse that off. So just take the bag, pull the pork belly out, and just rinse it off in the sink. Simple as that. So just get your hands in there, get the pepper, get the salt, get everything else off of that. So this side here is going to be the side, looks like bacon, right? So when you slice, it's going to slice in this direction. So I have the probe for my thermometer, for my smoker. I'm going to be putting it in the same direction as I'm going to slice it. If I put it in this direction, all the pieces of bacon that are going to go in there are going to have holes in them, and I don't know, it's probably not going to cook properly. It's going to shrink funny, so I just don't do it. So try to find a good fat part, or even size thickness of where it's going to go, and just simply take and insert the probe, knowing you want to make sure that it gets in far enough where the end of that probe is going to get the temperature for the bacon. From here, we're just going to go out to the smoker and get that started. Simple as that. Alright, so I know it's a little bright out here. Got my Weber Smoky Mountain, got one of these. It's a fantastic smoker. Got it sitting around 250 degrees. That's kind of where I like to keep it for when I'm doing bacon. It could go a little higher, a little lower. I guess in a way it doesn't really matter. The biggest thing is you're trying to hit 150 degrees internal temperature on the bacon before you pull it. So let's get this stuff on here. Cover off. Alright, so here's number one. And number two. So lid's on. Right now I'm not really aiming for any particular time. It's just going to be purely internal temperature. So I've got my my probes set up. Obviously they're coming in through here. Say hit 150, pull them. Simple as that. So those are the results. It took about an hour and a half because I had it at about, like I said, about 250 degrees. And that clanking you hear is my dog. He's right here. Good smoking buddy. So as I mentioned before, this is a really simple process. If you kind of follow these steps, you can do it too. If you like the video, subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And probably the next video, I don't know that we do smoking. It'll probably be back to something alcohol related, but like I said, this is kind of one of my other hobbies, so I'll probably be sprinkling these in too. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time.